AC.com. Springfield Mitsubishi AC.com.
222 Mirage 16 9 down, $249 a month for 72 months at 3% APR, plus tax tag title to qualified buyers.
Sports is what we do.
He's now the trifecta.
97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City, a town square media station serving all of South Jersey. This is Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app. Now, live from the Matt Black Kia Studios.
What a move!
Here's Josh Hennig.
Josh Hennig here on a Wednesday edition of Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. Phillies keep winning. This was a team that found ways to lose. Now they're finding ways to win. Last night was absolutely unexpected on so many levels. We'll get to that conversation in just a bit. Plus, NBA Finals Game 3 tonight. Coverage begins at 8 p.m. here on 97.3 ESPN FM. Plus, another edition of Weinberg Wednesday, sports columnist for 97.3 ESPN.com. Dave Weinberg joins us. Dave and I were both at Phillies games this past weekend. He was there on Sunday. I was there on Saturday. I want to talk with him a little bit about his perspective on the Phillies because, it's one thing to see the crowds on TV. It's another one to feel the energy in the building. When you have a weekend with basically 30,000 or more almost every single night, it definitely gives you a different perspective on things. So, but we'll get into all that still coming up here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. The text board is open at 609-403-0973 is the text board. You also can DM the show through the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle City. Of course, you can listen to the show on the app. You can check out all the latest articles from myself, Mike Gill, and more over at 97.3 ESPN.com, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. Now, I can't get over that win last night because that might be one of the most impressive wins of the Phillies season. This was a team that, let's be realistic, 2 weeks ago we were burying them. Now all of a sudden they've won 4 straight since firing the manager, but 5 overall. And you have to wonder what was really the change? Like, what was the trigger for this team? You look at the firing of Girardi, the team turns around, wins a bunch of games. You look over at the Angels, they fire their manager, they lose the very next game. So, what was really the difference? Well, Mike Gill brought this point up earlier today on the Sports Bash, and I was thinking the same thing today. You watch Rob Thompson after the game, and the guy has no emotion on his face. He'd be an amazing poker player, right? But you hear the players behind him, the music in the locker room, the players having a good time after the win. I've heard Taryn Hatcher on whatever the NBC Sports Philadelphia morning show is multiple times talk about how she likes the music in the locker room. People are noticing these things now. These were things that we didn't talk about before. The players being excited, the players' music, all these different, non-essential baseball things. And maybe that's really what happened here. Look, I don't think that Rob Thompson's the reason why Alec Boehm hit a home run last night off of the best closer in baseball. I don't necessarily think that, the Phillies are playing well just because of Rob Thompson. Okay. I think Girardi got fired. The players realize that now the burden is on them. The pressure is on them to go out there and do more. And I think it's just a big part of it is the players are stepping up to the plate. The players are picking up themselves off the floor. There's no one else to blame. There's no more shared blame to go around. I think that's the biggest reason why this team is stepped up. I think Thompson it's not the baseball decision making. And I'll get into the reason why I'm continuing to emphasize that in just a moment. But it's the fact that the players have this energy. There's an excitement. And I think that that is, to me, the biggest thing of all. Belief is a powerful thing. If you believe in yourself, if you believe in your teammates, if you have a positive mindset, you are more likely to be successful at anything in life. Okay? It's not just sports. All right? Whatever job that you have that is of any type of performance-based industry, okay? Whether you're, you could be a lawyer, for goodness sake. You could be a doctor. You could be a school bus driver, whatever you are, okay? If you believe in yourself and you believe that you can do something or you're great at something, you are more likely than not to do a good job at something. And I think the players looked at themselves in the mirror and said, hey, I'm Bryce Harper, or I'm Alec Boehm, or I'm fill in the blank, and I have these credentials, and on paper I should be great, and this team should be great, and we're going to be great. I heard JJ Redick, say on SportsCenter today that, one of the things he would do when he's in a slump is he'd watch himself on YouTube, and he says, yeah, I'm a bad man. I'm basically like talk himself up, hype himself up. And he said, I've been doing that for years. When I was at Duke, when I was in the NBA, I would tell myself or remind myself how great I am. And I think the Phillies maybe just needed a reminder of how much talent is on this team. Alec Boehm, to me, last night might be kind of the next step for him, because he hasn't played bad this year at all offensively. He's hitting better than he did last year. And right now, he has 4 home runs. Well, he had 7 all of last year, okay? He's got a .262 batting average. And his slugging percentage is more than it was last year as well. I think there's a part of Boehm that, maybe just need to be reminded, hey, I'm Alec Boehm. I wasn't the 10th round pick. I was the 3rd overall pick in the 2018 MLB draft. I'm somebody. Maybe that's what this came down to. Maybe these guys just needed a change of vibe and confidence and environment that Rob Thompson gives them. Look, you look at Alec Boehm, what he has done for the month of June. Alec Boehm for the month of June hasn't been hitting great, but he's looked a lot better. I think as this year has gone on, Alec Boehm has gone from a guy who's frustrated to a guy who has the look of a guy who's finding his confidence again. Now, I mentioned about the manager thing earlier. For those who didn't see what Joe Maddon had to say, Joe Maddon, who was fired by the Angels, made some very, shall I call it, pertinent comments. He talked with Ken Rosenthal of The Athletic, and he told Ken Rosenthal that it had been difficult for him to be a manager. Why? He said, quote, I'm into analytics, but not to the point where everybody wants to shove it down your throat. Real baseball people have felt somewhat impacted by all of this. You're unable to just go to the ballpark and have some fun and play ball. It's too much control by the front office these days. That was Joe Maddon, who is many people consider like the godfather of modern analytics in baseball. He was the first manager to embrace the concept of using analytics during a game for in-game decisions, for lineup decisions, for roster makeup. So it's one of those things where he's saying analytics is too much, and he said himself, too much control by the front office these days. So I ask, I don't know if anything that happened in the game was fully Girardi's decisions. All these lineup changes this year, was that Girardi or was that somebody in the front office? Sam Vold, the GM, Dave Dombrowski, the president of baseball operations. when Girardi would make some of the decisions he would make, how much of it was him and how much of it was the quote unquote, the analytics dictating to him. I think the big difference between Girardi and Thompson has less to do with the in-game decision making than it is about the fact that maybe Girardi was just stiff. Like, Girardi seems like a nice guy. I don't think he's a bad guy. Everybody who played with him loves him. Okay. And as a manager of the Marlins and the Yankees, a lot of players liked him. But there's always been a perception about Girardi that, he's maybe a little bit too much of something. I know that people have said, that he was having trouble getting along with some of the players in New York before they fired him to bring in Aaron Boone, right? Maybe there was a perception that he was too stiff here. Maybe he was, too uptight. Maybe he didn't let the players be themselves. I don't know what it is, but based on what Madden said, I get back to what I've been saying for a while. Everyone wanted to blame Girardi for things, but how much of it was Girardi and how much of it was something else? If the front office is dictating the lineups and the front office is, as Madden calls it, shoving analytics down everybody's throat, then, is that really the manager's fault? Is Kapler and Girardi and Madden, are these guys great managers because of their baseball acumen? Or are they great managers because they're in really good baseball teams and they're good at managing the talent? Has the baseball manager evolved from the guy who's the decision maker to a guy who manages the personalities of the locker room? And I hate to put it like that because in many ways, that's what the NBA head coach is. The NBA head coach is a guy. You don't have to be the greatest X and O guy to win in the NBA, but you got to be a guy who knows how to amplify your best players. And I think that's what you see going on tonight with the NBA Finals, which you can hear right here on 97.3 ESPN. Game 3 coverage begins at 8 p.m. Steve Kerr is not an elite X and O's guy. Steve Kerr is a guy who says, look, I know what it means to manage people. I understand how to talk to the media, talk to Draymond Green, talk to Steph Curry, talk to Klay Thompson. I know how to manage a locker room. I know how to manage this situation. One of the things that was said by Kerr a while ago is that, when he got the job with the Warriors, one of the biggest changes he made was to not do so as many pick and rolls. He said that was one of the main changes he made. Well, that's not an elite strategist. That's just somebody who says, we got to make a change and doing this is not as effective as something else. I don't think Steve Kerr is any less of a coach because he's not an elite tactician. Phil Jackson had Tex Winters with the Bulls all those years. Tex Winters was the X and O guy. Tex Winter was the basketball genius when it came to strategy. Phil Jackson was the master motivator. He was the guy who would motivate and manipulate and elevate and amplify. Maybe that's the thing that we don't understand what's going on with today's game. Maybe these players are so talented and so high level and just so, next tier. They don't need somebody to hold their hand and tell them how to play baseball, how to play basketball. Look at Brad Stevens. Brad Stevens got the Celtics to multiple conference finals with multiple versions of this team. But yet when he went to the front office, he said, I have a better way to do things than Danny Ainge's 20 years of doing this. And I'm going to hire a coach who's better than me at connecting with the players and elevating this team. Boston's been playing good defense for the last 6 years. But Udoka is the guy who got them to the NBA Finals, not Brad Stevens. So, maybe all of our conversations with the managers and the coaches, maybe we're looking at it all wrong. And as Joe Madden says in this article, the analytics is maybe part of the reason people don't understand our game or are less interested in our game of baseball. Maybe our concept of who makes the decisions is all wrong in these situations. Coming up the other side, another Weinberg Wednesday with Dave Weinberg, sports columnist, extra point columns over at 97.3 ESPN.com. Joins me next, Josh Hennig, here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN FM and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of CLC. We will check on what you guys have to say as well this hour. Text board is open, 609-403-0973. You also can DM the show through the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. It's free. Thanks to First Bank of Seattle City.
The NBA Finals continue on ESPN Radio.
That one's good. 29 for Curry.
The Warriors respond to a Game 1 defeat with a dominating win in Game 2. Now it's a best of 5 as the series shifts to Boston.
They are who we thought they were. We knew we had to keep our foot on the gas pedal and not let up, and we did that, and we're able to come out with the win.
Game 3 of the Warriors and Celtics. Coverage begins tonight at 8 Eastern on ESPN Radio.
The NBA Finals, exclusively on 97.3 ESPN FM.
Big down payments. Thousands down. We interviewed the victims. Tell us what happened, ma'am.
Well, I says to myself, Self, go to the all-new Springfield Mitsubishi, Atlantic City. Every vehicle's just one dime down.
And then?
I ended up at some other dealer.
Why?
They had guaranteed credit.
Let me guess, $4,000 down.
Yeah, $4,000.
Next time, go to Springfield Mitsubishi of Atlantic City. Springfield Mitsubishi knows it's a crime to pay more than a dime. Every vehicle, one dime down.
But my credit stinks.
Just ask for credit amnesty. If you bring home $350 a week, you could get up to $25,000 in credit.
It's a crime to pay more than a dime.
Every vehicle, one dime down.
At the all-new Springfield Mitsubishi, Atlantic City.
In Pleasantville.
Springfield Mitsubishi AC.com. Springfield Mitsubishi AC.com.
22 Mirage, 16 Ford, dime down, $249 a month for 72 months at 3% APR, plus tax tag title to qualified buyers.
You want 8 of the flutes and onyx.
Shira's hand-blown glassware blows right off her store's shelves.
Check the back for more indigo bowls.
She needs an inventory manager to help keep her stock on lock.
These are 100% borosilicate. Those aren't. Hey, can someone check the temp on the kiln?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Earn up to $500 in sponsored job credits by conducting interviews on Indeed. Visit Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
What's all the buzz about cleaning your nose, nasal hygiene, and Navage? The science is simple. Your nose is the body's air filter for trapping allergens and viruses, but it's not perfect. Like washing your hands and brushing your teeth, it's time to start cleaning your nose too. Navage uses powered suction to pull saline in one nostril to the back of the nose where most germs and viruses multiply, then flushes them out the other nostril before they reach your lungs. My name's Martin Hoke, and I didn't invent nasal irrigation. It's been around thousands of years. I did invent Navage to make it easy for everyone. In less than 30 seconds, you can clean your nose. And because it's all natural and drug-free, it's safe to use Navage every single day. Are you ready to join nearly 3 million people who use Navage to breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier? At Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Bed Bath, and Target. Navage, Navage, clean nose, healthy life.
By now, you know that sound. It's the sound of the Home Depot. But what about those sounds? Those are the sounds of a brand new ice maker dropping cubes into a fresh glass of water, making this the sound of savings on top brand appliances. The Home Depot. How doers get more done. Final days ends June 8th to save up to 30% off select appliances. Valid May 19th through June 8th. Gas range extra. While supplies last. See store for details.
Straight Talk Wireless knows there are plenty of reasons you might need a new phone. But switching to a better wireless provider doesn't have to be one of them. Keep your own phone and save when you switch to any Straight Talk Wireless plan, like our $45 Silver Unlimited plan with unlimited high-speed data and 5 gigs of hotspot, plus nationwide 5G on America's best networks. Keep your own phone. Switch to a better wireless plan. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise. Requires a compatible unlocked phone and KYOP kit. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary. See latest terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
When you support your local small businesses, it helps keep your neighbors employed, helps kids save for college, and strengthens your community. And Town Square Media South Jersey puts local businesses in the spotlight. Made a New Home Remodeling. Make your dreams a reality. MadeANewHomeRemodeling.com. Dr. Lyle M. Back. For everything from skincare to cosmetic surgery, go to ILoveLyleBack.com. Comfort Now by Bob McAllister. Improve the comfort in your home. Call 609-400-1005 and ask about discounts, rebates, and incentives. Online at iwantcomfortnow.com. Filling Marble and Tile Outlet, Philadelphia Avenue and Route 30 in Egg Harbor City. FillingMarble.com. Maurice Piers. For tickets and passes, visit MauricePiers.com. East Coast Roofing, Siding, and Windows serves all of South Jersey. If you call, they'll show up. Call East Coast today at 609-646-1444. Online at eastcoastroofing.com. Thank you for supporting your local businesses from Town Square Media, South Jersey.
You're listening to Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Josh Hennig back here on Game Night. Thank you to all of you listening here on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Seattle City. We'll check with you guys to say a little bit later this hour. Text board is open at 609-403-0973. If you want to text in, if you're listening on 97.3 ESPN FM, listening on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Seattle City. You could DM the show through the app. But right now, it's another edition of Weinberg Wednesday. Dave Weinberg, Extra Point columns over at 97.3ESPN.com. And he joins me right now here on Game Night. Dave, how you doing today?
Doing well, Josh. How are you?
Good, pretty good. Let's start with where you and I both were this weekend. You were at the Phillies game on Sunday. I was at the Phillies game on Saturday. And Dave, I want to know from you, what the experience was. Not just in terms of just, being a grandfather with your kids, but for me, there was a vibe in the building. There was, energy in that building I felt this weekend that I don't know has been there for a while.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Sure. Yeah, it was definitely pretty exciting on Sunday. As you probably know, we didn't stick around for the fireworks at the end of the game. When you have a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old, right, their attention span is not exactly long. So we were home by the time Bryce Harper hit that grand slam and then Stott followed with his big home run in the ninth. But it was a lot of fun though. Like you said, the energy level was really high. It looked like people were really into it. There were a lot of Mike Trout fans there too, and I was kind of disappointed that he didn't get a chance to give them something to cheer about. But that's the way baseball is. Sometimes you're hot, sometimes you're not, and now he's he finally got 2 hits the other night, but then hurt his groin, so I don't know what's going on. And
well, they said it's not serious, so I'm assuming that it might be more precautionary than anything else.
Sure, yeah, that's what he indicated. Yep.
I mean, he's the best player in baseball. You don't want the best player in baseball to do something to put himself out for another few months, like it happened last year. So
yeah, that's the truth. Yep, you're right there. Yep.
But back to the Phillies, they've won now 4 straight since firing the manager, Dave. And It just seems like watching the TV in person, watching the team on TV, it seems like this team has some energy again to them.
Yeah, they do. I mean, I don't know that the manager has a whole lot to do with it, but as everybody says, nothing cures, this depression or whatever, like winning, and they're winning right now, and so the game's fun again. There was the complaint that they weren't having fun out there before. Well, now they got a 5-game winning streak, like you said. So I'm sure the game was a lot more fun than it was when they were getting swept by the Mets, I guess it was, and just struggling overall. So it's great to see. It's great for the team. It's great for the fans to see them having a little bit of success right now.
You mentioned about the manager. I was reading the Joe Madden quotes a little bit earlier in The Athletic, and basically he's saying that, they're trying to shove analytics down people's throat. You can't just go to the ballpark, have fun, and play. He said he was telling the GM, you gotta back off and stay out of this. Analytics is the reason why people are not as interested in the game. And I think there's a lot of validity what Madden said, Dave. I think there's something to be said for the fact that these managers, they're not like Earl Weaver and Billy Martin and, Lou Piniella, whatever, Joe Torre. I'm just thinking of random manager from
Charlie Manuel, for that matter.
Charlie Manuel, there's less of a gut feel going on in the game than it is, well, so-and-so is 5 for 17 against this guy at nighttime.
Right. Yeah, the instinct part of the game is kind of gone by the wayside, and that's truly a shame. I mean, these guys got to where they were. Joe Girardi, Joe Madden, they've won World Series by. I know they probably understand the value of analytics, but there's also, we've talked about this before, you and I, that there's also that instinct, that feel factor that you have to weigh in when you're making decisions as a manager. Those guys have been around long enough that they deserve that. And yeah, when you're just managing by statistics, like you said, so and so is 4 for 12 for against left-handed pitchers with last name begins with a B. I mean, it's just it's really out of hand. I mean, I understand the value of it, but there's a time and a place for it, and you got to let those guys, so particularly like veteran guys, they should have the freedom to manage the way they see fit rather than taking orders from up on high and looking at a computer screen all day.
Yeah, and listen, we're not saying we're anti-numbers. Even Madden said in the article, look, I like analytics. I enjoy it. It amplifies what I do. But, I remember, Joe Torre with the Yankees in the 90s, or Charlie Mann with the Phillies in the late 2000s, or Bobby Cox with the Braves in the mid-90s.
Mm-hmm.
These guys, they used numbers, but they weren't dependent on them. But they said, hey, listen, for the Phillies, JC Romero is really good against this team. So I'm going to bring him in this game instead of Scott Air when I need a left-hander with Charlie Manuel or whatever team it was. So there is something to be said for, yes, you want the information, but as Madden said, don't shove it down people's throat and turn this into it's the end-all, be-all. Because at the end of the day, Dave, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to see that last night might have been a turning point for a guy like Alec Boehm. You get a home run off the best closer in baseball, and he didn't get a cheapie. That was a blast he hit. That might be a moment where Alec Boehm says, I'm the 3rd overall pick in the draft. I am somebody, and he goes on a tear because he just believes in himself.
Right, absolutely, and the manager believes in him. And yeah, you have to have a feel for your team, and these guys do. They know when to sub, when not to. I mean, I think Girardi made some mistakes with his rotation and stuff and his pitching staff, but he kind of earned that right, really. I know he made some mistakes, but he's been around long enough that he knows better than anybody, I think, whether to use a pitcher, when not to use a pitcher, when to change the lineup, when to when to leave it alone. And yeah, I mean that's going to be a great move for Alec Boehm. You watch, that probably is like you said, it's the confidence boost that he really needed. He's been struggling with fans and with his fielding for most of the year now, but I think maybe you might see him turn around a little bit. And you're right, that's momentum is a crazy thing. Once you get it, it's you can ride it for a while.
Now, you wrote about in your extra point column over at 97.3 ESPN.com. You took your grandsons to the game on Sunday, and you had a great time.
I did. Yeah.
But I want to go a little bigger picture than what you wrote about in the article. I want to ask you, you've been to a lot of baseball games. So how is the baseball experience in your mind? How is it? Has it evolved? Has it changed? Is it better? Is it worse? Is it the same? What are your thoughts?
Boy, that's a tough question, Josh. It seems, I guess it depends on what kind of fan you are. Like if you're there as you're a young kid and you're just there for the experience. I mean, they were more interested in the fanatic than anybody else. They, my youngest, or my middle grandson, Graham, had a Bryce Harper jersey on, but he has no idea who Bryce Harper is. So, yeah, but for me, the game has changed a lot. I mean, I remember as a kid going to Connie Mack Stadium. I'm a little bit older than you, obviously, but I just remember, this is going to sound like I'm an ancient, but I remember walking through the concourse, and I couldn't believe how green everything was, because we had a black and white TV. You only saw games here and there. I mean, they weren't on every night, and just to go and see like the colors of the field it just took your breath away. And to see guys like Willie Mays, and my first game was Phillies Giants, so I saw Juan Marichal against Chris Short. I saw Richie Allen and Willie Mays and Willie McCovey. It was just like an awesome experience for me as a 10-year-old boy. And nowadays, I don't know the kids are as into it anymore. Maybe there's too much else to do. I don't know, but yeah, it's a different game than it was. It's way too long. First off, I mean, you can't hold their attention for more than a couple of hours, and even I find myself getting a little bored after a while sometimes. I mean, like I think we left like 2 hours into the game, maybe 2.5, and they were still in the fifth inning. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Well, the length of the game is an issue that I know baseball is attempting to address.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, I know that in the minor leagues, the pitch clock apparently has sped up games by about 20 to 30 minutes. Does a pitch clock interest you at all? Or do you feel like that's just putting a Band-Aid on a wound that needs stitches?
No, anything that can speed it up, I'm all for it. I don't know if you've ever been to the Bridgeton tournament out, and that's the annual summer or amateur baseball tournament in Bridgeton every summer. Actually, I think it just completed this year, but they have all that stuff. They have pitch clocks. They have a certain amount of time between innings, some amount of time for the batters that they can only step out of the box like once in at bat or something like that. It's and their games just fly along, and I'm all for that. I mean, you probably don't have to go overboard, but if you can just cut off a half an hour from a game, I think that would go a long way to getting some fans back into it.
I'm a big fan of the pitch clock for just a specific reason. Even if it didn't let's say it cut off an hour of the game. To me, that's less important as what you just said before, Dave, the pace. There's so many times that, like, when I was at the game Saturday night, or if I watched the game on TV, you look up and you realize the at-bat's still going. Like, you almost lose track of what the count is because you're like, wait a minute, wait, it's 2-2. I thought we were on the next batter now. Like, because you look down, maybe you're eating something, maybe talking to your friend next to you, but like you lose track a little bit and you're like, wait a minute, we're still on the same batter. Like, that's my problem. The pace of the game is just completely hit the brakes at times.
Yeah, it is. It's really, the delays in the game are just ridiculous. Like you said, you look up, you maybe go to the bathroom, you come back and the same guy's still at the plate. To full disclosure, Sunday, the pace was like I couldn't tell what was going on. And my grandson dropped his ice cream out of the batting helmet on his way back from the. I got chocolate ice cream dripping all over my white shorts. It was just. We had to give 2 trips to the concession stand, 2 trips to the team store, a trip to the bathroom. It was just. I wouldn't trade it for the world. The look on their faces just to be there was priceless. Was more than worth it for me. But it's not a cheap date, I'll tell you that.
I would also recommend not wearing white shorts.
Yeah, it was my bad. Rookie move,
Dave Weinberg joining us for another edition of Weinberg Wednesday here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN, at Dave Weinberg 19 on Twitter. One more thing on the Phillies. Now, you said last week, Dave, that you still believe the Phillies had a chance at making a playoff run.
I did?
Yes, you did.
Maybe slim and numb. Go ahead. All right.
Well, I'm going to ask you.
Okay, I'll go along with it. Okay.
Is it something where you're going to say, hey, I was right, they have a chance? Or are you saying, maybe you were just being a little extra positive last week?
Yeah, I think my glass was a little more than half full or something. I don't know, full of what? I don't know. I'm not going to say, but yeah, it was just no. I mean, they won like 5 in a row when they're still 11 back or 10 back or something of the Mets. They're just not. No, I mean they might have a shot at a wild card berth, but the division I don't think is realistic. They have probably to win like 7 out of 8 games every time they play. I mean, that's not a realistic thing. They're gonna come back to earth relatively. No, I don't know how long. I don't know how soon, but it'll happen.
I mean, I think they could still get in the wild card just because of the fact that, one of the teams ahead of them, they play this weekend, the Arizona Diamondbacks. That team is very flawed.
Yeah.
I mean, literally on MLB Network, talking about trading their best pitcher. And they're in the wild card race. So you have a team in the wild card race, and it's like, they're probably going to trade Bumgarner. And you're like, okay, that's the perspective of that team, then they're probably going to fall off. So, I think the Phillies can get there. They got to make a trade before the deadline. That's the thing to me.
For what?
Something. Bullpen, maybe. A center fielder who's not Moniak, Herrera, and everybody else.
I find myself really pulling for Moniak, though. I mean, he's just been through so much. And the pressure on that kid, I think a 17-year-old kid, was just incredible. I'm really rooting for him to succeed. Whether it'll turn out, I don't know. It seems like he has a little bit of a confidence about himself now, a little more not so worried about what other people think, and hopefully he can continue that, because I'd really like to see him be the everyday center fielder if possible. But you're right, they do need a trade. You're right. I would say maybe a bullpen guy. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Knebel was giving people heart attacks last night.
Yeah, he's been doing that all year. Yeah.
Although maybe the solution is Seranthony Dominguez as a closer. I don't know, but
yeah, it could be. Yeah.
But Dave, I want to ask you about the golf news that's been popping off, because first of all, Phil needs to shave. I'll just put that out there.
Yeah,
I don't know what that look is, but it's rough.
Yeah,
like Phil, either grow it out or get it off. Like,
yeah, I'm with you. Yep.
A buddy of mine told me that Phil Mickelson looks like the discount version of Chuck Norris right now. So.
Yeah, it's not a good look for Phil. No, definitely. I mean, I understand him going off the grid and going hiking in Colorado, skiing in Colorado, and hiking in Sedona. But yeah, you gotta clean up when you're coming back to the golf world. That's for sure.
But I think there's one interesting aspect of all this, and everybody on each side of it, and that is, guys like Phil and some of the other guys are basically saying, look, we're looking at this as an opportunity. We're not looking at this as, we hate the PGA Tour per se. I know Phil has been more vocal than others about his issues with the tour, but, guys like, Bryson DeChambeau and Dustin Johnson and Sergio Garcia, these are still names that are going over there. It's not like it's you, me, and the guy next door going over to Live Tour.
Right. And I found it interesting that, I guess I kind of knew it, but not really, that they're all playing in the U.S. Open in a couple of weeks. Because the USGA is what runs the majors, not the PGA. And so the ultimate goal especially for a guy like Phil or Tiger or what have you, they want the majors. They'll play on the tour, but that's not really their sole focus anymore. And yeah, I mean, I'm not a big fan of this new tour. I just don't like what it stands for and where it's come from. But I can't blame them for wanting to go for the Bucks. I mean, I'd probably do the same thing if I had the option.
Like, I don't blame them for going and getting a lot of money. Like, good for you. If you have an opportunity to make money, I always say about pro athletes, Dave, you got a chance to maximize your potential while you can, go for it. I will never hate on somebody for that. No offense, Dave, but if somebody called me tonight on my cell phone and said, I'm going to pay you, triple what you're making now to leave your job, I'd be stupid to not consider it. You know what I mean? So
sure. Absolutely.
But I do think there's something to be said with the fact that, golf is very different than other sports, right? Like, golf, you can play longer, you can do more things. Like a guy in the NFL has a shelf life of 3-4 years on average. Baseball players, it's a little longer. Hockey and basketball a little longer than football. But golf, I mean, Phil Mickelson is 51 years old. It's a little different with golf.
Yeah, I mean, you can make a good living at it without being a star. I mean, if you're just making cuts every week, you're going to be a millionaire at the end of the year. Not many people realize that. I guess that it's that's probably an aspect of golf that not a whole lot of people realize, that you don't have to be in contention in order to be successful at it. At the same time, though, these Phil aside, I mean, Sergio, Kevin Na, those kind of guys are kind of on the downside of their careers, I think. So I think this just represents an opportunity for them for one last hurrah. I don't know if the PGA is really missing them that much. Phil accepted, of course, but yeah, I mean, they're just going for the gusto. I mean, like I said, their careers they're probably not going to win a major again, so why not go for this if you can and get some more money in your pocket, I guess.
Before I let you go, what are your thoughts on Tiger Woods saying that he needs to build his strength up for the major level of golf, and that's why he's going to sit out the U.S. Open?
Yeah, that's a good idea, really. I mean, he really struggled in the PGA championship and even in the Masters in the last day. you can tell he's not even close to being ready to compete again, just the stamina standpoint, strength standpoint. So yeah, I think he's making the right move by doing this. I think he was probably mad at himself for how he played, and I think he wants to make sure that he's back at at a higher level before he goes out there and tees it up again.
Well, at least we know one thing. Phil Mickelson, not the only guy right now, is not looking good, because now Tom Brady did for a completely different reason. I don't know if you saw, but Tom Brady got his hair dyed to raise money for charity.
Okay.
For the charity is Cut and Color for a Cure. It's a pediatric cancer fund.
Well, at least he had a reason to do it. I don't know what Phil's idea was.
I just don't know what's worse. Is it Tom Brady having orange hair, or Phil Mickelson looking like he forgot where the razor was?
That's true. Yeah, it's probably a tie.
At Dave Weinberg 19 on Twitter. Catch his extra point columns over at 97.3 ESPN.com. He joins me every Wednesday here on Game Night, the chat on 97.3 ESPN. Dave, we got through a segment without talking about the Eagles.
Yeah, how about that? That's a rarity.
I'll catch you next week. Have a good one.
All right, Josh. Thanks again. I appreciate it as always.
Josh Hennig here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN FM and 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Seattle. Yeah, I don't know if anybody saw the video. Basically, Brady got his hair dyed today to raise money for pediatric cancer. But when you see the video of what he looks like with the orange hair, like, Brady is a really good sport to allow himself to look like this, because the way they went about dyeing his hair, honestly, is probably the most awkward thing you will ever see. And at the end of the video, seeing him with orange head of hair is actually really hilarious. So we'll get back to your guys' thoughts and comments on the other side. Text board is open, 609-403-0973, 609-403-0973 is the text board. You also can DM the show through the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Seattle City. I'm Josh Hennig. This is Game Night.
The NBA Finals continue on ESPN Radio.
That one's good. 29 for Curry.
The Warriors respond to a Game 1 defeat with a dominating win in Game 2. Now it's a best of 5 as the series shifts to Boston.
They are who we thought they were. We knew we had to keep our foot on the gas pedal and not let up, and we did that, and we're able to come out with the win.
Game 3 of the Warriors and Celtics. Coverage begins tonight at 8 Eastern on ESPN Radio.
The NBA Finals, exclusively on 97.3 ESPN FM.
Big down payments. Thousands down. We interviewed the victims. Tell us what happened, ma'am.
Well, I says to myself, Self, go to the all-new Springfield Mitsubishi, Atlantic City. Every vehicle's just one dime down.
And then?
I ended up at some other dealer.
Why?
They had guaranteed credit.
Let me guess, $4,000 down.
Yeah, $4,000.
Next time, go to Springfield Mitsubishi of Atlantic City. Springfield Mitsubishi knows it's a crime to pay more than a dime. Every vehicle, one dime down.
But my credit stinks.
Just ask for credit amnesty. If you bring home $350 a week, you could get up to $25,000 in credit.
It's a crime to pay more than a dime.
Every vehicle, one dime down.
At the all-new Springfield Mitsubishi, Atlantic City.
In Pleasantville.
Springfield Mitsubishi AC.com. Springfield Mitsubishi AC.com.
222 Mirage, 16 Ford, 9 down, $249 a month for 72 months at 3% APR, plus tax tag title to qualified buyers.
Now, local businesses can get closer to every customer in their city with fast, affordable shipping. Introducing USPS Connect Local. You want speed? We deliver same or next day. You want savings? We give you supplies at a flat rate. You want less legwork? We do free pickups. Move your local business forward with the United States Postal Service. Let's connect at USPSconnect.com/local. Specific markets, restrictions apply. Same day or next day delivery expected, but not guaranteed with entry close to final destination.
What's all the buzz about cleaning your nose, nasal hygiene, and navage? The science is simple. Your nose is the body's air filter for trapping allergens and viruses, but it's not perfect. Like washing your hands and brushing your teeth, it's time to start cleaning your nose too. Navage uses powered suction to pull saline in one nostril to the back of the nose where most germs and viruses multiply, then flushes them out the other nostril before they reach your lungs. My name's Martin Hoke, and I didn't invent nasal irrigation. It's been around thousands of years. I did invent Navage to make it easy for everyone. In less than 30 seconds, you can clean your nose. And because it's all natural and drug-free, it's safe to use Navage every single day. Are you ready to join nearly 3 million people who use Navage to breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier? At Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Bed Bath, and Target. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E. Clean nose, healthy life.
Every search you make, every click you take, they'll be watching you.
Are you tired of being tracked online? There's a simple solution. DuckDuckGo. It's an all-in-one privacy app with a built-in private search engine, web browser, one-click data clearing, email protection, and more, all for free. Download the app today and get the most comprehensive privacy protection with the push of a button. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
First, we decide where we want to go. Then we need to know the best way to get there. Hi, my name's Adam Barada. I'm the owner of Advantage Gold. We're the highest-rated precious metals firm in the country. We teach people how to own physical gold and silver. Now, we've won the Best of TrustLink Award 4 years in a row because we educate our clients on how to buy gold and silver the right way. We don't pay celebrity spokespeople millions of dollars. We'd rather pass that value on to you. Call 800-900-8000 and speak with one of our experts. We'll send you a free gold kit along with my latest #1 national best-selling book, The Great Devaluation. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000. Get the best information, the best process, the best service, the best value. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000. Call 800-900-8000.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're speaking another language, like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
We're Town Square Media, and along with the awesome radio station you're listening to right now, we're publishers of best-in-class national entertainment brands like Taste of Country, Pop Crush, and more. And when combined with our local brands, we can reach over 70% of consumers in our community. At Town Square, all this digital clout puts us in a unique position to help local businesses grow with powerful marketing solutions. In addition to local radio, we're experts at web design and SEO, plus targetable advertising solutions like streaming TV, addressable geofencing, YouTube, Snapchat, Facebook, Spotify, search engine marketing, and so much more. That may sound like a lot of buzzwords, but really all that matters is we can deliver a relevant and ideal target audience to your business with data-informed decisions. No guessing, no waste, and you gain a trusted marketing partner with Town Square Media.
Take your business to the next level. Call our Director of Sales, Jim McLean, today at 609-910-5247.
Now, more Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
I'll get you my thoughts on the NBA Finals, Game 3 tonight, plus a couple other things before we get out of here. You can still text in the show, 609-403-0973 is the text board. You also can DM the show to the 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank CLC. Thanks to all of you who are listening to the show today and any day here on 973 ESPN FM. I am Josh Hennig at Josh Hennig on Twitter, where you can give me a follow. Don't forget, you can download the 973 ESPN mobile app for free thanks to First Bank of Sea Isle City. A couple of things here. One, following up on our conversation about the live golf. You know, I think there's two very different issues going on here with what we're seeing in golf. I think the one issue is, like Dave Weinberg said, a lot of the guys who you're seeing go to the live golf are guys who are on the downside of their professional careers, are going for an opportunity to make money in a sport where they probably were not going to be able to make that same money on the current tour. Okay. You know, it's a business decision, right? So I don't have no problem with that. That's the one side of the conversation, okay? These guys are saying, look, I'm not who I used to be. Sergio Garcia, Kevin Na, maybe even Dustin Johnson to an extent. It is interesting that Bryson DeChambeau is doing it, but I think DeChambeau, I think he's got a lot of other things that are not golf related that might be behind why he's doing this. But at the end of the day, when I look at this live golf, I look at it simply from a sports perspective as competition. I don't know if anybody is going to watch it any more or less than the PGA Tour right now. I'm assuming because it's not on regular TV that people will not watch it as much. But listen, if they have an opportunity to go make money, let them. It's like the USFL. The USFL is paying stupid money for these guys to not go play in the NFL in the 1980s. So, if you have a chance to make money, go make money. Go do what you got to do. But just be honest about it. And I think most of these guys have been honest about it. I think the difference with all this is the exception is Phil. Phil didn't have to leave, but Mickelson, I think as he admitted in the Bob Herrig one-on-one piece that, he's been going to get therapy. He's been dealing with some stuff. Obviously, he still needs to find a good razor to shave again. But at the end of the day, I think that, the live golf is not a bad thing. I just don't think it's going to be long-term as lucrative as people may hope, unless they get some sort of major advertiser money that I'm not currently aware of. Get to your thoughts on the text for just a moment at 609-403-0973 on the text board. Of course, you can DM the show through the 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle City. NBA Finals Game 3 tonight. I'm assuming the Boston Celtics are going to win the game tonight. I just think that as I've heard multiple people point out, Boston has not lost back-to-back games in a really long time. And I think that being back at home is going to re-energize them. It's going to uplift their role players. I think for the Warriors, if they were to win tonight, it would be massive, right? I just don't know how they're going to do it because Boston seems to lose at home when they have a lot of turnovers. And I just don't foresee a scenario unless there's something I don't know about the Warriors tonight that says that game 3 is going to go to Golden State. I still think Golden State wins the series in 7. I just don't think that they're going to be able to sweep Boston in the Garden up there. I think that this is going to be a split 2-2 down the middle, and then we're going to go to a best-of-3 series. I think that's where Golden State will prevail, because if you think about it this way, if they split the series in Golden State, they split the series in Boston, and then the Warriors go on and win their next 2 home games, they win the series. Over on the text board at 609-403-0973. Dan in EHC says, Corey Knable's a 2-pitch pitcher like most closers are, but he's absolutely no control of either pitch. What should Dombrowski do, Josh? The Phillies have the talent, but a couple of real deficiencies are holding them back from being contenders. Well, you heard me told Dave Weinberg, I think they need to acquire some bullpen help. We have watched in the last decade plus of baseball between the Giants and the Royals and the Cubs and a lot of these teams, even the Braves and the Dodgers championships, that a lot of these teams won because of their pitching. It wasn't because of their hitting. The hitting was a positive. It was a plus in the column. But I think that if the Phillies are going to be serious contenders, they got to beef up on the pitching. I think Knable is maybe just a little out of his depth as a closer. Not that he had a lot of better options this offseason to sign me. Maybe he could have gotten Kenley Jansen, but, that's kind of, hindsight being 20/20. They got Knable at a value that made sense for them, at a point in time that made sense for them this offseason. I think that the biggest thing Dombrowski needs to do is he needs to go scour the market, go look at those teams losing records and say, what is it going to take for me to get these pitchers? You're not going to be able to get the biggest names because you don't have the prospects to trade, but, you might be able to get some guys who maybe fly under the radar who are going to be able to add you some depth to that bullpen. That's what I would do, Dan and EHT. I'm Josh Hennig. This is Game Night. I'll catch you tomorrow.